Ladies and gentlemen, the raw dog food marketplace is currently an utter shit show. Buckle up because we are going to learn something together today. Now, I have spent the last few months researching every single raw dog food category there is to research, and I have been left confused and enraged in equal measure. In simple terms, raw dog food is meant to mimic, to replicate what your dog and my dog would eat in the wild and present it to your dog in a minimally processed way. And this of course would contrast the over processing of kibble, where all nutrients are cooked at very, very high temperatures. In certain cases, extreme temperatures rendering any nutrients invalid and completely defeating the point of feeding your dog appropriately. And obviously, whenever you change the ingredients of a food, whenever you change the chemicals of a food, the composition of a food changes as well. Well, it now seems to me like the raw dog food marketplace is in complete disarray. It has really become a circus. Now, there is going to be a bit of lingo associated with this, so please bear with me. There are companies doing 80-10-10s. There are companies doing 75-10-10. There are companies doing 60-40s and even 50-50s, where 50% of the recipe is meat and up to 50% is vegetables. And guess what? All these claim to be complete and balanced and even vet approved. But the joke doesn't really stop there. We have companies putting between 4 and 5% bone content in their recipes, whereby others go up to 15% bone content in their recipes. And it really does depend on the manufacturer you go for. Some, as we discussed, offered veg in the recipe, varying from just a tiny bit of veg to up to 50% vegetables in the raw dog food. Some include rice, or as they call it, organic rice. Some contain peas, and some contains some of the same ingredients that we have been humming and hawing about kibble, and some of the ingredients that we purposely do not like in kibble. Well, some of those ingredients are now in raw pet food, which is absolutely moronic and idiotic. How can there be so much disparity in quality among all these manufacturers? And obviously there will be a lot of good actors in here where they are just trying to do their best to provide a good quality food, but some of these manufacturers are totally taking the mickey when it comes to quality and when it comes to the way they present the food to you. We of course have cowboys who sell through either Facebook Marketplace or through the back of a van in the middle of nowhere with no quality controls done whatsoever, and these are of course very, very popular in a subsector of the raw feeding community. But leaving these cowboys out of the question for a minute, how can there be so much disparity and everyone telling you their food is the best, their food is complete and balanced, the food is vet approved, when there is so much noise and so much disparity in recipes, in ingredients, and in quantities of the different bits and bobs that these foods include? How can there be such a disparity? How can they all claim to adhere to the highest standards? And guess what? A lot of these, if not all, subscribe to DEFRA and UK Pet Food, who are meant to check and regulate and tell you, the consumer, that their food is tickety-boo, as it were. So not only all these manufacturers have different recipes, different ingredients, and different ways of doing things, not only these are regulated and adhere to DEFRA and UK Pet Food, but to add insult to injury, a lot of these will pay vets or associate themselves with vets to tell you that their food is the one for you to trust and for you to think that they are the gold standard in raw dog food. This surely confuses you, the consumer, so much more. The whole point of feeding your dog a raw food diet is to move away from bad ingredients, is to move away from those bad actors in kibble, is to move away from a highly processed food onto a much better, more natural and fresher food for our dogs. But how can we have some of the same ingredients we have bashed ad nauseum on this channel, and people like yourself probably who are a raw food subscriber, how can we have those very same ingredients as of kibble in raw dog food? How can that be permitted? How is that even a thing? In my opinion, raw dog food should be a safe haven, should be a thing that you give your dog that should be the best you can actually provide for your canine companion. Is something that is minimally processed, something that again will be complete, will be convenient, something that is fresh, it's real food. But no, what we get with a lot of these manufacturers is a huge disparity in quality, in bone content, in offal not being displayed properly, in the quality of the meat not being the same, and some of the fillers, some of the rice, of the peas and other ingredients we did not like in kibble now being put in raw dog food. And I do not care if you are the biggest raw food advocate, you have to go into these things with eyes wide open, because all these companies are just trying to tell you they are the best. As for what can be done, I am afraid there is little that can be done. Why? All these companies have the resources, aka the money, to go to all these sanctioning bodies and to pay their fee and to tell everyone that their food is complete and balanced, or whatever other nonsense they want to spout. And this leaves you a lot more confused than you were when you were feeding kibble if you have transitioned from it. And we haven't even started to discuss the commoditization of all these raw dog foods. What do I mean? Well, we have manufacturers offering you subscriptions and giving you raw food for free. A lot of raw food for free. We have 40% off introductory offers, and we have raw food manufacturers even undercutting the very retailers their supply, wanting you to subscribe with them instead of you going to your local pet shop. You of course have so much more choice than ever, and you can contrast and compare different qualities and different brands and go for the one that suits you the most. But that doesn't really change the fact that so many of these foods are becoming worse and worse, and they are charging you more and more for a bigger and bigger pile of. And let me tell you something, a lot of people are coming off of raw altogether. It's too much hassle, it might be even too expensive, and the value for money is no longer there. Whenever we start tweaking with ingredients and we add the things we do not like from the kibble world and put them in raw dog food, that's when you know there is a fundamental problem with raw dog food. It doesn't surprise me that so many people are ditching raw because of their cost going up, whilst the ingredients and the recipes and the formulas are inconsistent, unreliable, and some of those very ingredients aren't the best for your dog. Now, just for a bit of context, we are huge raw dog food advocates, and we think a fresh diet is arguably the best for your dog. But we can be both passionate and very, very critical and cynical whenever it comes to certain practices in the raw dog food world. I mean, I would absolutely love to hear your comments and what you think. Do you still feed raw? What brand do you feed? Do you read the ingredients in your raw dog food? Because a lot of people are unaware of some of these ingredients, and they came off of kibble because they wanted something better for their dog, only to find that their raw food manufacturer or supplier puts 50% vegetables in their raw dog food, which in my opinion defeats the whole purpose of feeding raw. Please let me know what you think in the comments. Please like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.